You know you need to show up, and you know that you want to show up. But there's always an excuse, right? I'll do that someday when I lose 10 pounds, when I get that extra zero in my bank account, my kid leaves the house. There's all sorts of different excuses or deadlines that we give ourselves for when we want to step into frame. And it's always something that's moving. It's always something that's going to just continue to get further and further and further down the line. But we don't want it to do that, do we? We want to be seen. We want our story documented. We want to be in the frame. So why do we hesitate so much? We tell ourselves that lie about someday I'll do it, someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that, when a certain condition is met, when a certain condition is right, when I feel quote unquote ready. But isn't that just the lie that we tell ourselves? It's also a form of procrastination, that lie. It helps us feel safe. It protects us from going into an environment where we're uncomfortable, where we're like, oh, we have to perform. I have to be like somebody else. But there is an area, there is a space where it's needed, where you need to come out and you do not have to perform at all. It's about creating imagery. It's about documenting your story about who you are as you are. I know I've done this for myself. I've had that condition, that goalpost, and I waited and waited and waited. And in the end, did it matter? Not one bit. I had to be ready. I had to know it myself that it was time for me to do it, not wait for somebody else's kick in the pants, as it were. One instance of that was building the business. I wanted to build my business. I've always wanted to own my own business, but I did it in the safety net of a corporate job. And it's like, well, I won't go full time until I've gotten through that second paid maternity leave, and I've done this and I've done that, and didn't quite work out that way. I mean, it is what it is, but I went full time before I felt ready. Part of it was because I had to, and part of it because I wanted to. We moved to North Carolina, my corporate job came to an end, and I really just resisted full body going out and finding another full-time job. It's like, it is time for me to make that stand. It is time for me to own who I am in my business and put myself out there. I was still hiding behind the work. I was still hiding behind the brand. But as things have evolved underneath the business and with the brand and with me as an individual, as a storyteller, I can tell you, I don't think I was ever going to be ready. If I hadn't had the kick in the pants from not having that corporate safety net anymore, I'd still be there. Just because when you have kids, when you have all of these other things that come on to you or come into your life and you have to be responsible for them, that safety net is just so nice. But it can also be closeting. It can keep you stuck. And that's what I would have been in the corporate environment. I'd still be stuck, still be catering to all of these other things and not really following what I want to do, who I want to be, where I want to go. This also can apply to any level of your personal life. It doesn't have to be just about work. It can be all about the travel I had always wanted to do. That was something I never let limit me. After college, I spent a year abroad traveling. That was something I knew in my heart that I wanted to do, so I went and did it. I went to graduate school because I wanted to do it, so I went and did it. But I was always seeking other people's approval at the same time. Always wondering, how can I get people to like me? How can I do this? How can I do that? Instead of really being me, who I am as the individual. And you can apply that to dating too. I was pretending to be someone who I wasn't because I wanted to put my best foot forward and all of those other things that you do in dating. But as soon as I realized that I needed to take care of me and I just ditched all the other things, that's when I met my husband and he got to see me for me. So when we stop playing it safe, when we stop hiding, when we allow ourselves to be ourselves, that is the most pivotal time in your life. Because you are you. Nobody else can be you. And your story is unique to you, which is why we need to document. We need to create imagery that tells your story, that creates your legacy, that enables you to pass your story on in your images, in your own words, not third party by somebody else. Because it's all about that internal decision. You have to make the decision to be ready. You have to make that decision to lead. Because making that decision is a leadership decision. Even if you don't think you're a leader, making that decision is demonstrative for somebody else. You are setting an example for someone in your family or your neighborhood or your greater community. Who doesn't want to do that? So if you know that you are ready to step in front of the camera, but you're waiting for the right conditions, your life, this chapter, everything is passing you by. It's time to stop waiting. Book your curiosity call today.